Go ahead, anything you guys need?
When you came in and was kind of reviewing film on your own, what were your impressions of Deon Hollins?
I really like Deon Hollins. You know, in spending time with Deon, I've gotten to know him and gotten to know he's really got a great mind and a very cerebral player. And so we have some good conversations at times, and I call him in, and I enjoy the conversations.
Pass rush was a bit of a problem at times last year. What have you seen out of kind of just individual skill sets of your pass rushers? Do you think you have the tools there to have a good pass rush this year?
I think so. You know, you got to remember now, we're mixing and matching and doing a lot of different things and asking to do different things. But I think that's one, if you watch us, if we want to put pressure on with 4 guys, I think we're going to be able to do it. I think we've got some players that can do that, as long as we, you know, mix it in, change up, and give them some other things to look at besides, you know, just a constant 4-man pressure coming. You got to mix in some 5 and some 6 and some 3. And as long as we keep mixing up, it'll help the pressures.
Does Deon still look like maybe the most effective pass rusher out of those linebackers?
Well, I think he's got a great first step. But, you know, Deon is for us is a guy that half a linebacker, half a defensive end. So he's got a lot of different skill set that's different than the other linebackers. And he's up around the ball a lot more. We're going to ask him to do a lot of different things. He'll be fine at it. He'll be okay.
Do linebackers almost have like more responsibility now than they did before, just with all the stuff about rushing the quarterback and pass coverage?
These guys on offense, they're like tricksters, you know. We should have rules. You have to line up in only certain formations. I think that the linebacker play has changed so much over the years because, you know, they're out in space a lot more now. Is there truly ever a Mike linebacker anymore? No. I think they've become rushers, they've become defenders, man-to-man players, zone players, run stoppers. There's just so many different things. And what happens to you now with linebackers is they have to be good enough to do all those things because you can't substitute them. Like in the old days, hey, okay, they got 10 personnel, we'll get the nickels in there and we'll do all this nickels and the dimes. You can't anymore because these offenses will come out with 12 personnel and get in empties and 2 backs, and they'll do all kind of different things. So I think that's one thing. What you're looking for in a linebacker now has changed tremendously over the years.
Do you think the same is kind of true of the defensive linemen, just in terms of the versatility they need?
Well, I would agree with you on that because what's happened now with the defensive linemen is, you know, as you know, they used to start out, hey, let's make the corners tackle. We'll play up back on the corners, up back on the linebackers. Then it became, okay, let's make the defensive end slow them down with the zone reads and everything. And now they're actually, you know, reading off of defensive tackles too, you know, which isn't anything new. You know, it's been in the wishbone offense forever, but it's more prevalent now. You see those things to try to slow those guys down too. So I think everybody's skill set has changed tremendously on defense and what you're playing with. And one thing you'll see in football is copycats, and sooner or later again, somebody will come back and line up with a big, getting the power I and the T again, the full T. Maybe not, but I hope they do. But anyway, it'll keep coming full circle.
Stanford kind of.
Yes, you know, Stanford has their ogre package, and they get it, and other people do it. I mean, it's not odd to see it, and you have to be ready. So that's where you have to build your unit to be ready to handle all these different styles and types of offenses.
What's the biggest challenge in doing that and preparing guys for the diverse looks you're going to see?
Well, it's you know, I think it's preparing yourself depending on what your offense does. Okay, we see certain things every day that are easier for us because we see them every day. And then, you know, at other places we didn't have that type of an offense, so when we had to go against it, it was very difficult to practice against it. But, you know, years ago when the zone read and things started to come in, you didn't have a lot of guys that to them. Now every one of these kids has been a quarterback, or they know how to do it for your scout team. So, you know, we just have to, you know, be able to simulate those style of offenses, which, you know, that's what will take time.
When you've coached guys in the past that maybe start out as pass rush specialists, what are the hurdles for them usually in terms of becoming more complete in coverage or in other parts of the game? Just
working on it, constantly working on it. To understand that you've got to take what your skill set, and sometimes the player only wants to do what he's good at, and you have to make him do the other thing. So we've done a lot of cross training out of a lot of our positions. You know, not so much as the linebackers as in the secondary. We've had guys playing a lot of different positions. So you'll see some bust out here. We're just getting ready, preparing them that you have to know all the different positions. You know, with the guys that are good pass rushers, you know, we're working a lot more on pass coverage with them, making them do it.
Do you remember how these?
Good to go.